Hello, my name is Lynette, and I am reading in the April 2026 issue of the Love Exquisite Magazine, which you can access for free. If you follow me on Instagram, Love Exquisite LLC, hit the profile and you'll get access to the entire magazine. You can also follow my YouTube channel, Love Exquisite LLC, and this is where you get to listen to the some of the magazine articles that I read on my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. So here we go. I'm reading in the For the Love of Relationships section, y'all. And the article is titled Evolve, Don't Expire. Ooh, another good one. Relationships are not meant to remain the same. They are meant to grow, to stretch, and to transform over time. Just like seasons change, people do too. So seasons change and people do too. The challenge is not avoiding change, but in learning how to navigate change together. If I can be honest, this is one of my biggest challenges because I love the stability of consistency. So when I'm in relationships and I'm encountering some type of change, it first produces friction because I'm uncomfortable with it. So I might have a lot of questions. Okay, well, why aren't we doing this anymore? Or why, what's the change or what's creating it? You know what I mean? But now that I'm a better communicator, I know how to communicate in a better way to get an understanding as opposed to a rebuttal to change. You got to stay open to it. You know what I mean? And as long as the change is healthy and it's for the betterment of the relationship, embrace it. When two people commit to evolving together, they create a bond that becomes deeper and more meaningful with time rather than fragile and outdated. One of the greatest signs of a healthy relationship is the ability to grow together without fear. Growth requires honesty, patience, transformation, hard work, vulnerability, communication, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations. Most of the time, uncomfortable conversations. It means being able to say, I'm not the same person I used to be. There are some things that I am no longer able to do physically. There are things that I no longer enjoy. Or there are some things that I will no longer tolerate or accept. You got to have those uncomfortable, honest conversations with each other, especially if you've been in relationships for years, and sometimes you might start out, physically fit and healthy. And then over time, life happens and something changes your body and now you can't do the things that you used to do physically. Sometimes it's just aging, the aging process, or sometimes it's something that happened to you physically that creates the change. So it's a conversation, an uncomfortable conversation that you have to have and be honest with yourself about your capabilities and abilities of what you can do. And you have to talk with your mate about it, but you also have to be flexible and doing something different. You know what I mean? It may not be that you have to stop altogether, whatever that was. It may be you have to do it in a different way, because sometimes it's depending on what it is, it's like, oh, well, you got a back injury and now you might not be able to perform like you used to perform. And so it's like, okay, it isn't that you don't perform because both of you have needs. It's just that you perform differently. Maybe you needed support back then. Maybe you need to get more massages. Maybe you need to get a back brace, whatever it is. Maybe you do it in moderation. You don't just stop cold turkey because your mate has needs and wants to. And just because it changed for you doesn't mean it changed for them. So keep that in mind also. So there's things that you might not no longer tolerate. And then that, with that being said, it may be a compound of different things that you've accepted over the years. And now you've simply had enough. And it's like everybody gets to their point of enough and everybody eventually gets to a breaking point where you have to have that conversation when you know your worth, you know what you deserve, you know the respect that you need and you want in your relationship. And if you're not getting it, you have to communicate that because nobody knows your needs as better than you do. So, and if you don't communicate that, it's not their fault, it's your fault because you're not getting your needs met because you're not communicating what your needs are. So you got to keep that in mind too. And if you are communicating your needs and they're just not listening, it's like talking to a brick wall, then you have to make some modifications there as well, and say, is this the person that truly deserves to have me in their life? And if the answer is no, then you have to make decisions there as well, because you should always be with somebody who deserves you, the goodness of you, not just the bad parts, but the good parts as well. So when growth is embraced, um and again, I'm sorry, I got to go back to what I'm saying in terms of what you're willing and you're not willing to accept. You also have to be willing to hear it too. You can't just be the one sharing your thoughts and what you need. You have to be willing to hear your mate's thoughts and needs too. So they should have the same open, honest conversation. They should be able to talk with you openly and honestly, just like you should be able to talk to them as well. That's basically what I'm saying. So that other person should have that same safe space to communicate. So when growth is embraced instead of resisted, relationship becomes safe places for transformation instead of cages of expectation. Because sometimes we have these big expectations, but we don't communicate what they are, so they remain in cages, and then we get mad when they're unmet expectations or when they're unrealistic expectations. You have to be open and honest with yourself as well as with your mate. However, not all relationships are meant to grow forever. So you got to keep that in mind as well. And that truth can be difficult to accept. Some connections serve as a purpose for a season, teaching lessons we didn't even know we needed, So outgrowing a relationship does not mean failure. You will find that later in life that it actually was beneficial because you learned a lot from it to carry now to your next relationship, what to do and what not to do, or what to do better. So it often means success of the next relationship, if you actually truly learn from what didn't work the first time or the second time or the third time, So it shows that you've learned, that you've matured, that you've grown, and that you become more aligned with your values and your purpose. So when you're dating younger, you don't really think about your values and your purpose or where you want to go. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. You just having fun, or you think you just out there dating and you're having fun. But as you get older, you learn to value your time more. Your time is precious. You learn that you have more years behind you than you have ahead of you. So it's time to stop playing games and buckle down and think about what truly is valuable, who is truly valuable, and what your purpose is in life, and what goals you want to achieve from, and how you want to live your life from this moment forward. So you think about those things as you get older. So honest and open communication is the bridge that helps to determine whether a relationship evolves or expires. It's not just about talking more, but about speaking truth with love and care. So you don't have to hurt the person's feelings by how you're communicating with them or by what you're communicating with them, but you definitely want to be honest. And you also want to listen to their feedback as well with intention and purpose. When people feel heard and valued and understood, they are more willing to grow together rather than drift apart. So silence, avoidance, and assumption are ultimately what causes the breakdown in the relationship, the weakening of the relationship. It's not just change itself. It's if you're silent and you're avoiding having the honest conversation, that's what usually breaks down the relationship. In relationships, the goal is not to hold on to people at all costs. Like I'm a ride or die. That's not the goal in a healthy relationship. The goal is to build connections that can adapt and thrive through change. Healthy relationships are not defined by I'm gonna say it again because the spirit just came over me, because this is a whole word. Y'all gotta listen. Healthy relationships are not defined by how long you've known each other, nor by how long of time you've invested in the relationship or how long the relationship lasts. It's built on by how well you both support growth. the growth in each other, not just in one person, but in each other, that you both are better than what you were when you first met each other. You should be that for each other. Changes are going to occur for both parties, for both partners. How well you navigate through the changes will determine how far you grow together or apart. So when you find a mate who is willing to evolve with you, you create something magically beautiful and powerful. A relationship that don't just survive change. It doesn't just survive change, but is strengthened by it. So never be afraid to evolve. Change can often feel uncomfortable, but as long as it's healthy, you should be open and willing to do what is right and good for the betterment of the relationship collectively, for both parties, for all parties involved. So don't be afraid to evolve so that you don't expire. That is the article titled Evolve, Don't Expire. And it's written for the Love of Relationships section of the April 2026 issue of the Love Exquisite Magazine. Again, you can access it on my YouTube channel, and you can also access the entire magazine by clicking on the link in my Instagram profile, Love Exquisite LLC. Make sure you check out the amazing content in the magazine and the feature of the month for the premiere of the movie, the short film called What Are You Doing with Your Life? It is set to screen and premiere in April 2026, April the 26th to be exact, Cinema Real Theater on Temple's campus. Make sure you come out. You can get tickets on eventbrite.com. It's called What Are You Doing with Your Life? It's an important question to ask yourself. Don't worry about asking the question to others. Focus on yourself. What are you doing with your life? It's an important question to ask and answer honestly, and reflect on what your life, does your life have meaning? Everybody's does, but what are you doing with your life means so much more. What are you doing with your life? Go out and support. It's my first film that I wrote and directed, and I'm excited about it. It already won Best Drama in the Global Film Festival. Thank you to the committee. And it was selected to be screened April 18th in Canada. So thank you to the International Black and Diversity Film Festival as well. It was submitted to several different film festivals, so I look forward to sharing more great things in the future. But come out and support y'all, and the profits and donations that come in, they benefit the Love Exquisite Arts and Recreation nonprofit centers youth programs. So thank you to the cast, the crew, the extras, the people that showed up and came out for the filming, the editor, the AI editor, as well as the main editor on the project, the cast, the crew. Thank you, PCCD, for the grant to help make this possible. So thank you. God bless.